Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 29th of May for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you an overview which we can all relate to collectively, but please stay with me. I will explore in much greater detail all the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. If you're new here, it's great to have you with us. This is very much a community. Do share any thoughts you have. I try to interact with each one, but please also subscribe by clicking or tapping on the bell notification symbol. As this week begins, so the Sun is in a very enthusiastic and energizing link with Mars. The Sun's in Gemini, which is fleet-footed, loves lots of quick, short, but bright conversations and has an appetite for everyday knowledge and information. Mars in the proud Leo is a really wonderful location for Mars. It's pushing us to manifest our talents wherever we can. It's just that despite their vibrant link, Saturn is being somewhat of a spoilsport, located in house 12, which can be to do with the people who are not necessarily on our side, or the more psychological or subconscious strands of our situation. Saturn is in a right angle with the Sun, which can slow things down, but it's also in a triangle with Mars. And if we don't really target our efforts in a very focused way, we could end up feeling a bit frustrated at the start of this week. But Wednesday, fortunately, sees Mercury emerge from its post-retrograde shadow. If we go back to the 4th of April, when Mercury moved into Taurus, by the 7th, it started to slow down and go into its pre-retrograde shadow. The retrograde itself began on the 21st of April and ended on the 15th of May. But if anything to do with finance has felt sluggish, has slowed down for you, or you've been waiting for some information or news, the chances are you're going to get that confirmation in the second half of this week as Mercury comes out of shadow, which is like a mini retrograde, but also aligns with the bright energies of Uranus, which is very much about truths. So Uranus in Taurus is joined by Mercury, and some information can come into the open which provides some real illumination, particularly if you have been feeling that things just aren't shifting. Now Venus is the ruler of the sign of Taurus and therefore intrinsically linked to everyday finance, but is currently in the feeling sign of Cancer, and it forges a quite enchanting link with Neptune in the second half of this week. If you're lucky enough to be involved in a friendship, association, or personal relationship, which really is lovely, you can celebrate this with that other person in the latter part of this week. But Venus is also in a direct opposition with Pluto, and that can bring a much more political vibe to bear. But overall, the two influences involving Venus ask us to really count our blessings in terms of our associations, but also appreciate what our core values are, which provide our sense of security, with Venus being in the sign of security, Cancer. But as the week draws to a close, we do have the full moon, the Sagittarius strawberry full moon. So this can be a crop of strawberries, if we like, over the next couple of weeks, but it can also see some strident conversations. The sign of Sagittarius loves openness and can be quite frank, but it's also about higher truths, whereas the Sun in Gemini is about those everyday quick moving chats that are not necessarily always so deep and thought through. So there could be some kind of discussion that manifests itself at the end of this week. If it's about money, if it's about our core values, our self-worth, or a relationship, it really wouldn't be a surprise. But something may need to come into the open which provides illumination, but it could be a little bit uncomfortable hearing what someone has to say. Now, if you would like to learn much more deeply how astrology can have such a profound impact on your life, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data, of time, date and place of birth, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This will give you an intimate understanding of the patterns that have played out in your existence so far. In my special offer of 30% off, you can also get your 12-month forecast, totally unique to you, these reports, and that will give you Syrian insights. If you don't know your time, my new solar reports based on the sun can also be invaluable to you. Please see the links below for more. So Cancer, as you make your way into this week, the sun continues its presence in the most sheltered part of your situation, where each year we're asked to go through a process of just reflecting on what the previous 12 months has meant for that particular sign. Once the sun moves into your sign on the 21st of June and we have the summer solstice, you will really move into the moment. But you still do have Venus in your sign, which is very attracting, can bring good things to you. And Venus this week forges a magical link with Neptune. And it's possible that if you're planning a trip or you do something to do with a cultural interest, like go to a gallery, watch a band, or just have some chill out time in a very peaceful location, you can get a lot from that, because with the sun in the 12th house, your appreciation of nature and tranquility is certainly being emphasised. Unfortunately, at the start of this week, Saturn, which can be a limiting influence, is applying to the sun. But Saturn's in the part of your situation which can amplify whatever you're feeling. So if you are feeling more sensitive, Saturn can just seem to feed information to you that aggravates that. Fortunately, Mars is actually forging a very constructive link to the Sun in the first half of this week, which encourages you to always stay in touch with your past efforts, the things that you've learnt in your life. All those experiences have fed into the understanding that you have. And even if you are feeling a little more reflective at the moment, don't let go of that accumulative knowledge and experience. It's really important. Now, if your friendship sector has felt a bit sluggish or your long-term plans haven't been rattling forward quite at the pace you would like, particularly now that Jupiter has moved into the sign of Taurus since the 16th of May, the great news is that Mercury emerging from its post-retrograde shadow on Wednesday will really help to speed things up. It then aligns with Uranus, also in this sector, along with Jupiter, and I feel that you're going to see something happen really fast as this week comes to a close, which can really excite you. Also, Venus is going to be opposed by Pluto. This suggests that some kind of offer can come your way in the second half of this week. But you may have to carefully evaluate what the motive is behind that offer or what the true value is. Because when Venus and Pluto are aligned together, our desire can sometimes overpower our logic. So it's just something to watch out for. But as the week draws to a close, the full moon goes across the 6th and 12th axes for you. So the sun's in the part of your situation which is very much to do with your senses, to do with psychology, our subconscious, and to a degree healing but withdrawal. Whereas the moon occurs in the very precise 6th house in the frank and open Sagittarius. So there may be something of a practical nature that you need to engage with over the following 2 weeks, just at a moment where you could be happier just having space to work out some of these very important strands that are going on in your situation. But there may be some kind of practical demand or obligation that you need to attend to, and that just brings you back into the present in perhaps a little bit of a jarring way.